Hello, my name is Lauren.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Lydia.
Over the next few minutes, we'd like to share with you some tips, tricks, and experience we've gained to help you make a better amateur video.
Making a video isn't as easy as grabbing a camera and rolling. There's a lot of work that goes into pre-production as well. The work you put into pre-production prepares you for filming and makes the whole process run much more smoothly. Even with documentaries or non-fiction films, writing a script or even a detailed outline is pretty much necessary. It really helps focus and structure your video so that it doesn't end up all over the place.
But before you can even get to the writing step, you need to first research so that you have an idea about what it is you want to say and what it is you're talking about. The research process for an academic video is more or less identical to the research process for a term paper. You need to consult reputable sources and studies on your given topic.
If you're interviewing someone as part of your film, it's a really good idea to meet with your interviewee beforehand for a pre-interview. This helps you rough out some answers so you can structure your video around what you expect to hear from your speaker. It also gives you a heads up of some of the visuals you could use to accompany the interview's audio.
Because this is a video, you'll have to research not only what you're going to say, but also what you'll want to show. For this, it'd be a good idea to do a scout shoot. While you're writing, think about the visuals you would like to film. Before you start filming, it's always a good idea to visit the locations that you would like to shoot. This does a few things. If there's anything visually interesting at your location, make notes of it for your script. You can take note of exactly what shots you want and how you'll set them up for your script. You can anticipate any challenges. For example, is there a lot of background noise at your location, or is the lighting poor?
And now you finally get to the writing. Because it is a video, you have to write out not only what you want to say, but also what you would like to see. I find it helps if you use 12-point Courier New as your font, as one page in this font is roughly equal to 1 minute of video time.
If you plan on using interviews or unscripted moments in your video, try and sketch out as best you can what you want it to look like in your script. Remember that the script is a great guide, but it's not set in stone and you can do whatever you want once you're on scene and shooting.
So the script is written, but it's still not time to start filming yet. First, there's some setup to do before you can start to film.
If you intend to use still images in your video, collect them all into one file on your computer so it's easy to access them later. If you're using music and images, make sure that you own the rights to them or that they're royalty-free. You can make them yourself, or you can Google anything that's created under a Creative Commons Attribution license. In most of these cases, as long as you give credit to the artist, you'll be good to go.
You don't need a fancy camera to shoot a YouTube video. You can use any digital camera that'll shoot video, or even an iPhone. All you really need to worry about are framing and good lighting.
Make sure that you or the person you're interviewing is lit from the front, the sides, and that there are no windows as backdrops. The camera focuses on wherever there is more light, so on a really sunny day, your subject can appear in complete silhouette if they are filmed against the window, even if they're facing the camera directly.
The best way to light someone is to have them face a window, so the window is located behind the camera and out of the shot. Turn on all overhead lights in the room. This balances the intensity of the light so that your subject doesn't appear too bright against the shadowy background. If sunlight is unpredictable and you'll be filming for a long time, close the curtains and use only overhead lights and table lamps.
If you're not comfortable appearing on camera and don't want to interview someone, you can also create your video completely out of images and B-roll and do a voiceover, like me. Make sure you have a microphone for this. A headset microphone that you use for Skype will do.
There are many ways to set up a camera shot. Using a variety of shots makes for a more visually interesting film.
When it comes to framing, make sure that you or your subject are comfortably in the frame. Be sure that there is not too much space above the head, like this, or too little space above the head, like this. And allow room to move if you or the person you're interviewing are expressive talkers.
Also avoid placing you or your subject in the dead center of the shot like this. It is more visually pleasing if the camera is focused slightly to the left or right of the frame.
Now it's time to finally get down to business and start filming. If possible, use a tripod. This will ensure that your shot is steady. If not, try resting the camera on an even and strong surface such as a table. Just be sure that the table does not appear in the frame. Every camera works a bit differently. For the best results, consult the user manual of your camera.
Before filming, make sure your camera is either plugged in or has a battery. If you have a battery, make sure the battery is fully charged.
If you're the one in front of the camera, keep your notes beside you. When you start filming, look directly into the camera lens, not the viewfinder. Try speaking your notes 1 or 2 sentences at a time. Say as much as you're comfortable with, pause, then look back at your notes for the next sentence or two. You can edit out these pauses later. Don't feel nervous if you mess up, because it's just gonna happen. The beauty of video is you can start all over again.
If you're filming an interview, sit across from the interviewee and place the tripod to one side of you at an angle between 45 and 90 degrees of your interview subject. The interviewee should speak to the interviewer, not to the camera. It is usually uncomfortable and unnatural for both the interviewee and the viewers if he or she is looking straight at the camera.
Never underestimate the power of B-roll. B-roll is visual footage taken for the purpose of overlaying images over sound. If the person you're interviewing is describing something that they do, film them doing it. If you want to illustrate, say, how to crack an egg, film yourself cracking an egg. You can also use B-roll as establishing shots to set the scene. And if the situation allows it, you can even use B-roll to cover footage that's been cut together awkwardly.
Now that you've finished filming, it's time for the real work to begin. It's time for editing! Yay! The first thing you need to do is download your footage to your computer. Your camera's user manual probably has instructions on how to do this.
Once your footage is downloaded, open your video editor and place your clips and photos in the work bin. Most video editing programs will have at least two sections. One, the preview screen, on which you can replay your work as you edit it. And the other, the timeline, on which you actually edit your audio and video clips.
If you don't have any fancy video editing software, don't worry. There's plenty of free video editing software for PCs, and we've provided you with a link in the description below. If you have a Mac, you're in luck because Macs come with iMovie.
Video is measured in minutes, seconds, and frames. The number of frames per second is the number of individual pictures the camera takes per second. This should usually be about 30. You will be able to manipulate your footage to the frame. To do so, just zoom in as much as possible on the timeline. The basic skills you need to learn are cutting, titles, pictures, and transitions.
When editing your footage together, start with a dialogue and overlay the footage later. Think of the dialogue as the backbone to your project. If you've written and followed a script, this should be very easy. Keep in mind, however, that not all video programs will allow you to separate your audio from your video.
Make sure that all of the dialogue you want to use is on your timeline. If you've done several takes, choose the best one. Once you've found it, place your cursor near the beginning and use the left and right arrow keys to toggle to the frame just before the talking starts. Then you'll need to separate this footage into its own clip. The way to do this varies between programs, so check for tutorials on YouTube. Repeat this on the frame after the talking stops at the end of the portion of dialogue. Select and delete any footage around it that you do not wish to use.
Leaving a silent frame on the beginning and end of dialogue makes it so that people don't sound like they're starting too suddenly or being cut off at the end. If you're cutting in the middle of a sentence, start exactly on the frames where the sounds begin and end.
If you want to overlay a title on any part of your footage, bring your cursor to the point where you want the title to appear and click the Title tool. This tool will allow you to enter your text, change its color, and change its position over the image. The title will automatically appear in a separate video track. You can extend the title to any length you want by hovering over the end of your clip until extension arrows appear, clicking on it and extending it to where you want it to end.
Photos can be placed over footage by simply dragging them from the project bin and into your timeline. Your B-roll footage is overlaid in this exact same way. If you want, you can use your software's pan and zoom feature to add some movement to the still photo. There are many tutorials online that will show you how to do this on your editing software. If you're creating a project solely based on photos, then record your narration first. I recommend using Audacity to create the narration file. You can then layer your photos on top.
When you have everything in place, you can start to add transitions between videos when the transition between them seems too sudden. Your software should have a wide selection of transitions available, but the only ones you'll need are crossfade, dip to black, and dip to white. Crossfade allows you to see both sets of media as they morph from one to the other, like this. With dip to black or white, your footage fades in or out, from either black or white. I recommend fading in from black at the beginning of videos and fading out to black at the end of videos. In between, crossfade between photos and videos. Simply select your transition and place it at one or both ends of your clip.
When you're happy with how your project looks, it's time to save your project. Saving your project can take several hours depending on the file size and also depending on your computer's graphic card. Allow time for this and be patient.
Make sure that before you save, you're saving to a file format that is compatible with both your footage and with YouTube. If you shot in HD, use MP4. If you didn't shoot in HD, use MOV or WMV.
Now it's time to upload a video to YouTube. First, you must create a YouTube account. This is a relatively quick and easy process. When you sign on to your YouTube account, hit the upload button and then select Files from my computer.
YouTube allows you to give your video a description, a title, and tag. For the title, choose something straightforward and snappy. Think of what you would type in the search bar if you were looking for your video. You may also give a short description of what your video is about. A sentence will do. If you have any sources to link, this would be a great place to put the URLs of any studies or news articles that you've used for this video. Also, you can put the bibliographic information of books that you've used.
The tags, or metadata, are how people find your video when they search for it on YouTube. If people can't remember your title, they might search for your username or channel name, so put that first. Then your video's title, then its main topics, and any other related terms that might be relevant to your video.
Uploading your video to YouTube may take quite some time, depending on factors like your internet connection speed, whether or not it's maintenance day for YouTube, and the size of the file you're trying to upload. There are two stages: uploading, the transition of your video from your computer to YouTube, and processing, which is the preparation of your video for playback on YouTube.
And that's it! So now you've made your video and you're ready to share it with the world, so go ahead and have fun with it!
We hope that this video helps you through any project that you choose to do.
Best of luck, guys.